All right, I'm thinking now about, we told the story about catching the big one, the big spoon-billed paddlefish.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have another story. This is when I was in Baylor, when I drove up from Baylor to be with you guys in Oklahoma.
Right.
And this is a story where I lost the big one, a big paddlefish.
We were up there doing the same thing. We were going up to the cable up by the dam there, and where we put our boats in there. And then we would, they had the gates open, and we were doing it, and it was just you and Padley and myself in the boat. And this was when the Phillips guys were not there, but FA was there, and so was all the, our normal group from Kansas City, which we had coming down there, more of them, and Ray from Oklahoma, that kind of thing.
Bunch of dudes, all different boats. We
yeah,
probably had 4 or 5 boats
probably
going.
7 or 8 boats of us, yeah. And you snagged onto something, which we did at the time. We had no idea what it was, and you.
But we knew we got it close enough, I think, to where we knew it was a paddlefish.
Not the very first. I mean,
right off the bat.
We knew you had something, that boy, and you was really fighting it.
Mm-hmm.
And this was when the pastor of the church, Craig Talley, was in another boat with somebody else, Dick Rogan, I think, at the time.
And they were watching me.
And they were all watching us because not FA, but Padley, we were following around.
We'd follow the fish.
We followed the fish.
Because I remember it would just go bzzz and run the line out, and I'd let it go, and then finally it would stop, and then I'd try to reel in, and you guys would follow. We followed this fish.
And that's right. And the whole time you were griping at me because I had bought you a cheap rod and reel, and you couldn't get that thing to make it sing, and then it'd start working, and then it wouldn't work, and everything else, and we just went all over that cotton picking river and chased that thing.
I bet you 45 minutes we chased that thing.
Yes, and pretty soon you had reeled so hard and so everything else, it just froze. It would not even, he couldn't even turn the reel. He didn't do anything. You couldn't do anything except just pull on the fish, and we tried, but we couldn't get him up close enough to the boat. And pretty soon he snapped the line, and you got so upset that you screamed at me, and you said, "You bought me this cheap rotten reel and said that it wasn't worth anything," and you threw it down in the bottom of the boat, and it said, that just pisses me off.
That was a word I wasn't supposed to say then.
No, and the preacher looked over at it and he said, "I heard that, Fred, and I'm going to remember that."
I was the pastor in training, and
And
but
Craig Talley was the pastor
at the church, and he heard me say that.
Yes, and he was all over me because and we did look at the reel, and it actually was just we took it apart, and it was nothing but plastic rod.
It's like
reel.
it had some. I don't know what kind of reel.
It was an old one. We bought it. We'd had it.
It must have had
years.
some plastic gears in it that just literally melted. Like it got so hot in there.
I don't know, but it wouldn't turn. And we looked at them, and it was all just they just were ground off.
It was crazy.
And everything. And
So
I went out and bought him a real expensive one after that.
Anyway, yeah, the big one that got away. Oh,
it was. We never did know how big he really was.
I know. I think I remember though a couple of times we got him up close enough to where you could kind of see him. It was huge. I mean, it was a big fish.
That there was.
Oh well, next time.
That's next time.
Next time.
But we still caught fish though. We went out. We bought we had another reel and rod and reel, and so we kept fishing, and we caught a lot of fish that year. That was the year we caught a lot of fish.
Yeah, we did.